event. They are who we owe our freedom. So those of you who have served in the past or perhaps serving today in uniform, raise your hand. We're going to honor you. We're going to salute you. God bless you, United States military. Proudly clinging to your guns and your religion. Hey, good to be at home. And good to be here in the Independence Event Center. Man, where else can a hockey mom and a Maverick feel right at home? Here in the home of the Mavericks. Kind of takes me back to the year 2008. All right, well, the team too. I was so proud. They presented Todd to me with a little jersey that says Trig. So we were Googling real quick, you know, the team's record and looking up the league and making sure, yep, it's CHL. We wrote it down real quick. Make sure that we got it right. Still kicking it old school, still using the four-man teleprompter. That's just the way we do it. You know, let me tell you something real quick about Trig, you guys. Let me tell you something about this little fella. 2 years ago, I had a sonogram finding out that I was pregnant with Trig and finding out that the doctor at 12 weeks along could measure this baby's little tiny neck and little bones, and I thought that was just so amazing and awesome that we have this technology that can actually show life of a 12-week-along baby. And the doctor said, well, the baby's base of the neck is a little bit thicker than what we'd expect at this time, and that really took me aback because I felt some fear at the time, thinking, wow, you know, I remember what the thick base of the neck could possibly mean. It could mean that the baby had an extra chromosome and would be born with Down syndrome. Didn't know what to think about that except to be scared and just crying out to God, oh God, prepare my heart. I don't know how I'm going to handle this challenge, but Lord, you never give us anything more than what we can handle, so I'm going to trust you, Lord, that we can get through this. Well, yeah, Trig was born with Down syndrome, and still not really knowing how we would handle this situation, these circumstances at the time, kind of seemed less than ideal, but God so answering our prayers, preparing our heart, just we falling so in love with this little child. Let me tell you something that Trig has taught us. I want him to kind of be able to share with you something, a perspective I think that he has on life that the rest of us could really learn from. Trig, now at age 2, he wakes up in the morning, got a lot of challenges out there in front of him, but he wakes up in the morning and he rubs his little sleepy eyes and he looks around, clears his eyes, and he applauds the day. And that is something that I think that the rest of us can learn. As I tell you, we're going to learn more from a child like Trig than he's ever going to learn from us. So we are so proud of this child, and for years, in fact, for the first 20 years of Todd and my marriage or our life, hockey was our world, kind of the center of our world. And our oldest son playing for years, and his last injury, though, in hockey, and his last shoulder surgery kind of made him hang up the hockey skates. But then he got to move on to something bigger and better, serving in the United States military as an infantryman, going to Iraq. On the back of our trucks, those of us who drive trucks, that say, you know, oh, my kid's all-state hockey, or my kid's on the honor roll. Well, once track finally graduated and went on into the military, we peeled off those bumper stickers, and now we proudly display, my kid's got more chromosomes than your kid. And it's great to be here with patriots who understand what it's going to take this country back, to win America back, to put government back on our side. I'm so thankful that you are here and that you're passionate about this, and that, as was said, we can, with a united front, we can succeed in this mission, folks. We can take this country back. Speaking in 2008 to Missouri, I've been meaning to thank you. I'm sure you know that this state has voted for the winner in almost every presidential election since 1904, and the only exceptions were 1956 and 2008. Yes. But I just want to thank you. I want to thank you for trying to put your bellwether status on the line, trying to put the McCain ticket over the top. And, you know, when you look at what's been coming out of D.C. lately, I think a lot of people would say you made the right decision with your vote in '08, and I thank you for it. Because, folks...
No more video. We got to clear out now.
These days, we are learning what the left really meant when their presidential candidate said, yes, we can. When we turn that soundbite into a sentence, you can. What you're going to get out of it is, yes, we can. Spread the wealth around. Yeah, other people's hard-earned money and their productivity, yep, I'll take that and I'll dole it out according to some politicians' priorities. Yes, they think they can do that. Yes, we can spend money that we don't have on programs that we don't want and that we can't afford. Yes, we can stick the next generation with the bill for today's runaway spending. And yes, we can put our country on track to double the national debt in just one decade and quadruple the deficit. And yes, we can let the government take over 1/6 of our private sector economy with the choices now being diminished and expenses going up in healthcare. And yes, we can kowtow to enemies and criticize allies like Israel. Well, yes, we can. Someone has got to tell the president just because you can doesn't mean you should. Policies that violate our values and our conscience and our Constitution, when they say, yes, we can, we say, oh, no, you don't. Right. And just wait until November midterm elections when we will send that message in the ballot box that no, they won't. See, that's why conferences like this and organizations like Preserving American Liberty are so important, because the stakes are so high, friends. And Washington's got it so wrong. Because the stakes being high, we know that we have got to get it together, and we've got to preserve our liberty, and we've got to win our country back, and we can do this united, one nation, under God, under one Constitution, as one America. You know, Thomas Jefferson had said, the natural progress of things is for liberty to yield and government to gain ground. And over the last 18 months, unfortunately, those words have rung true. Washington keeps growing government, and then they wonder why everyday Americans like us, why we are so concerned and why we want our voice heard. We're concerned because we know that you can't grow government and at the same time allow freedom and opportunity. You grow government, then you're restricting America's freedom and America's opportunities. And that's why patriotic Americans across the country are joining in, and they're standing up and they're speaking out. And some of them, these important voices, you guys have had them here, you've heard them speak. Conservative movement persons like Fred and Jerry Thompson and Liz Cheney and J.C. Watts, some of these amazing patriots who are very bold, very, very strong in their beliefs, and they're not going to let anybody tell them to sit down and shut up. They're going to stand up and they're going to speak out on your behalf. So some of these folks in this movement of wanting to rise up and have our voice heard to put government back on our side, some of us are Republicans. Some of us are what we used to call Reagan Democrats. Some of us are what a lot of my friends and family, including my own husband, are just independents, not registered in any party, but just independents who love this country so much, always, always proud to be an American, never apologizing for being American. Are bold enough, and I don't know, I guess some people, the media, they're gonna say we're crazy enough to claim to be part of the Tea Party movement.